eve of the Cheltenham Festival, there is no better place to come than champion trainer Paul Nicholls. All his stable stars, they're all going to be out here this morning. The weather's miserable, as per normal, but it's great to actually be here, hands-on and able to ride out. Well, every yard pulls out at different times. We're pulling out here, it's round about 7:45. The weather is brutal, but the horses have got to be exercised, and that is what we're going to do. Don't know where we're going, mind. No, it's not all these agile young girls. Blimey, he's strong. With Cheltenham just around the corner, you would have thought that tensions would have been quite high here riding out, but completely the opposite. I was riding out with Kate, the head girl, totally relaxed, Scott, who rides Surname, and Solo and what have you. Everyone remarkably, in fact, relaxed. Paul, have you ever had the horses in better form going into Cheltenham?
No, probably not. So they're flying at the moment, which is obviously a good thing. They look really good and healthy in their skins, and they're all running really well.
It's ages since I've actually ridden out here, but the gallops, every year you seem to improve the facilities.
Yeah, you've got to keep reinvesting in things, and the gallops are second to none now. They stand up to all weathers, and all this flooding's been no issue, and it just helps keep all the horses fit and healthy.
I rode Time White first lot. We did two canters up there.
Yeah.
He's a fair horse.
Yeah, and he's a proper horse. He's just kept on improving all along. Also had the Boodles of Fred Winter as a target for him, really. He had a nice run at Sandown the first time behind Goshen, was just ran a bit free, and the tip would have been on a flat and desperate ground. Then he ran very well at Kempton over Christmas. They won well at Musselburgh the other day, which was a sort of what they call Triumph Hurdle trial. He won that very nicely. So he's got a mark of 133, which I think is fair, and he must go into that race with a leading chance.
Are you one of these people that likes horses to go in off the back of a win?
Well, I think it doesn't do them any harm, but the most important out in race, you go in there off a decent handicap mark. You know, or a mark you think you can win off, and he's definitely off 133 is a winnable mark for him in my view. And
then obviously second lot then, I rode Getaway Trump, and you go down, it's a complete difference, so we go on the fast flat gallop.
Yeah, well, most of the horses on a Thursday, if they run do a couple of canters up the hill, that's the ones you rode second at what I call Fat Boys Club. The horses that have got plenty of condition are a bit behind or want a bit more, and so they go down on the flat gallop, and as you say, canter, do 5 furlongs down, and then 6 and 6 circuits in the deep sand and canter back. Let's just keep them on top of them, really.
You've given some graft. I'd forgotten how hard you work them.
Well, Thursdays is an easy day for most, but they take plenty of work. They take plenty of grub, and you know, but it's never long distance galloping. We don't do a lot of galloping, lots of hard, steady work with them, really. But yeah, they need plenty of work.
Clifford, you've been here 24 years. Does Cheltenham still give you the same sort of buzz?
Yeah, of course it does. I mean, Cheltenham is the Olympics, isn't it? So, of course, if you don't get a buzz from that, then, well, you might as well not bother to work in it or not bother. So, yeah, of course, it's a big kick.
Seymour Business kicked it all off here at Ditcheat. Did you ride him?
Yeah, I used to ride Seymour out all the time. I rode him for about 7 years. So we had a good relationship, and he obviously won the Gold Cup in '99.
You haven't ridden out for a few years. Do you prefer it on the ground, or do you miss the riding out?
I actually don't miss the riding out that much. I mean, I've been lucky enough to ride some of the best horses in England over the last 20 years. So
couldn't really get any better.
No, so that's good. But I can see much more on the ground, to be fair. Keep an eye on more of the horses all the time.
Solo the other day, I mean, he's ridiculously impressive.
Yeah, he's a real talking horse now, isn't he? And probably rightly so. He was workmanlike at home, did everything we asked of him. But I think even we were a bit shocked to see how well he did it.
It's interesting, your gallops actually, it'd be quite hard to sort of really tell, because you've got the steep hill and then the really flat bit. It'd be hard to sort of really trial a horse on them, wouldn't it?
Oh yeah, I mean, they work over 5 furlongs, so you can't really tell. But he just goes about his business, and, you know, we knew he was a nice horse. You could tell by his watching the video of him winning it around Altoy, so we knew he was all right. We just thought the only thing we were worried about is whether he acclimatised. He clearly had.
Solo comes down, over he goes. Solo goes on and goes to win by a decent margin.
It was a good run in Altoy, but you never know, he had to step up. But, you know, sometimes those French horses do take a season to acclimatise or a run or two, but he was straight out there. I mean, I was a bit worried he was going right-handed flat track at Kempton, completely opposite of what he's been used to going left-handed round O'Toy, different style of running and everything. So he adapted to that really, really well, and obviously thrilled with the way he won.
He's a gorgeous model, isn't he?
Yeah, well, you've seen him. He is a proper horse, good strong chasing, so he did that well. And I had to laugh at, like, you know, he's got a mark of 157 for winning that, and that's made in the highest rated. And obviously, quite how they come up with a mark, they must just invent them and just stick on £10 on what he had before. But, you know, he's not going to run a handicap, so it doesn't matter whether he's rated 150 or 157, it's irrelevant.
Just on the same thing, Pick Dory, would you consider supplementing him for a champion?
No, he's going to aim for it. He had 2 quick races. He had a hard race at Newbury. To be honest with you, even if we did supplement, I can't see him winning the champion hurdle. I'm not sure it's his race.
You mentioned races. The reason I mentioned him was, I mean, Solo is probably only a couple of pounds off the champion hurdle.
He is.
Is this crazy to say that you could?
You could. I mean, Epatant's 159, for example, I think, and some of those others. You could supplement him with a champion hurdle, and he'd get an £8 allowance as well, which would be interesting. But we're not going to. We're going to go and run in the Triumph.
It'd be interesting, though, wouldn't it?
Be interesting. But then again, you know, if he's going to be a champion hurdle, so next year he'd be that much better horse anyway. Yeah. So. Probably be a better race next year, but it would be a big shout to go and run him in the champion hurdle on his 4th run over hurdles. Yeah. But who knows? It could be possible, but I don't think we're going to go down that route.
Yeah. So Psycho, he's also going to run in the Triumph, isn't he?
He's done nothing but improve. He very impressive the last day at Haydock, and then he won well at Christmas at Exeter. He beat the older horses, he annihilated them, and he's just massively improving. And he'll have soft ground, and the faster they go in the race, the better. So he's a sort of could definitely run into the place.
I remember I saw him the first time at Cheltenham. He was really disappointed. And you said, "Look, he's just a horse, you know now." And
he was disappointed. Actually, the winner though of that race that day won the valuable handicap at Ascot the other day, so it probably wasn't that bad. But he's just turned inside out mentally and physically. I can see why he was called Sir Psycho when we first had him. He was quite unmanageable, but a different animal now. So he has improved rapidly.
We rode him at Haydock. Loved him. So professional over a hurdle, gallops, stays, everything you need for the Triumph. I've never ridden in the race, but I've definitely picked Dad's brains, Fitzy's brains and Paul's brains about the race. So it's, you know, that would be mega for me to sit on him, yeah.
I think the most interesting, he's got the speed, the early speed. That's what normally takes the horses out of their comfort zone.
Yeah, and who knows what the weather's going to do. He's proven that he can adapt to the soft ground, and he handles it, which is something you know, horses might need this year with the way that the clouds keep pouring it on us. I mean, we were riding out in snow this morning, it's so unpredictable, but hopefully we have a meeting as well.
Yeah. Interesting you say that. So you think that he's a decent ground horse that's able to adapt to handle soft ground?
Yeah, he's got an immense amount of quality, you know. He moves extremely well underneath you, and he's a tall horse at that. He's strong, you know. He's got a lot behind him. And like I said, he's had the races now. He knows what it's like. So I know that I'm going there with a horse that can help me out if we get in a sticky situation.
Green team comes towards the last. Under Harry Cobden for Paul Nicholls, and safely over, the odds-on favourite running away with this like an odds-on favourite should. Champagne Mystery coming into second, but it's an easy win for Green Team, who wins very nicely indeed.
Interesting outsider in the Arkle, Grenadine. I mean, we saw the horse win at Fakenham, it's just a little race, but he's obviously got a fair amount of ability.
Yeah, well, he won at Ascot first time over fences off top weight, won well, then he went to Musselburgh and won very well again, and got his 3rd run the other day. Really, the 3rd one qualified him for the Grand Annual. I'd say if he runs anywhere, run in the Grand Annual.
Okay.
Because we're thinking he'd win in the Arkle, like 150, I'd say, have a big chance. And you know, he's like 20 to 1 for the Arkle, and he's favourite for the Grand Annual. So if we run, I suspect we'll go for the Grand Annual.
Dynamite Dollars, you must have been delighted with that comeback run.
It was an awesome run, you know, for a horse who was having his first run at a novice company and his first run for a year, to be beat 3 lengths by a dual champion chase winner. It was a really good comeback run, and he's improved since then. More at range, the better, really, for him around Cheltenham, because he'd get every bit of the 2 miles, and he galloped to Wincant this morning and went very nicely. I'm very happy with him.
The horses, even though you get them very fit, they do improve, don't they?
Well, he hadn't done any, he hadn't been able to do it, so they're going to improve. You get them fit and run hard, but they're going to improve for running. Interesting, Harry thought perhaps that day, 2 out, instead of sitting on him and just thinking, oh, I might get a bit tired, I won't go from too soon, so halfway she'd jumped the second last and really said,
sent him.
Yeah. And, you know, he'd gone probably a little bit closer. But so it was a really good run first time, and I think he's a real lively outsider in the champion chase.
Who do you think, if you had the choice of training the the top three?
Well, I think if it's very soft ground, definitely so. I think Altior probably is better on good ground like it was at Newbury. I'm not convinced. If it keeps on raining, it's really testing ground. I think Defi de Sol's done nothing wrong. Although, you know, the race at Ascot was a bit of a muddling race. It was a very slow time, but he shows he goes in the ground. And of course, he won the Tingle Creek as well. So he's on a roll. He's a decent horse.
With the big races, you mentioned Dynamite Dogs, but Politolo, will he go again?
Yeah, he worked brilliant this morning at Wincanton. I was very thrilled with him. He leads to be fresh. He has a few little issues. He bled in the Tingle Creek, so he put a line through that. He ran very well the first time against Defi de Sol, giving him weight actually at Cheltenham. And of course in last year's Champion Chase, he jumped the last upside out. It was beat a length and a quarter, so 33 to 1. He's massive outsider. He's good, and to be honest, the more it rains for him as well. If he was a real stiff 2 miles because of the ground, it would suit him well. And I couldn't be happier with him. And he's sort of a bit of a forgotten horse.
Those older horses, they need the big occasions sometimes to spark them up, don't they?
And train them right as well. It just is a bit unfortunate. Had a few runs. It's not the easiest to get right, but when he is, he's a good horse.
In the JP cars, Mick Pastor, really interesting. It was only a little race at Ludlow, but he won well. Yeah, he won a decent race in O'Toywood. The forms worked out very well. Typical hadn't acclimatised when we first had him. We found he had ulcers after Cheltenham and he was keen, but he's turned the corner massively now. He's come into our routine and learnt to settle, and he went to Wincanton this morning and went nicely. He's in the Boodles, he's also in the Triumph, so I haven't heard quite what they're thinking, but I suspect I've 140 he'll end up running in the Boodles. That'd be a real good race for him. Just wouldn't want the ground desperate, that's all I'd say, but he is a very nice horse. Your horses seem to be some trainers' yards dependent now. They're like really soft ground or fast ground. But yours do seem to go in any sort of conditions. Well, hopefully they're fit, and that helps an awful lot. I mean, to be honest with you, we always tend to think we like better ground. But most of them actually this year have been running well on soft ground, so it's not really an issue, really. Capeland's been a great horse. Yeah, he's done very well this year. He loves a fast run 2 miles, so the Grand Annual suits him. He's just really on a career high now. He's got it all to do. I mean, he'd have it all to do to beat Grenadine at the weights, I would have said, but who knows? Yeah. And Kel Destan, who's in great form. Yeah. Do you know, I've always thought about putting cheap pieces on him, because I always thought when he ran on a flat with Megan, he kept a bit to himself, and a couple of times he'd been a bit idle. And I wish I'd put him on Sunday, because he definitely jumped the last at Fontwell and now said, I'm going that way, and idle, and then stayed on a bit. So I could be tempted. Funny race, that line. Yeah, it is a funny race, and it's a funny course as well. It works out. But the county hurdle could suit him if it was very soft ground, because although he'll have 11 stone 12, we could take £5 off with Brian Carver, and bottom weight might be in 10 stone 10 or something like that. So if it was soft ground, it's definitely possible. I wouldn't be surprised to see him run really well. Could be interested what chasing horses down, because you know. Yeah, and not make the use, and just you know, ride him hand and get a lead. And you know, like at Sandown, he stayed on well when he beat Cornwall Lord, and on his day he's a decent horse. I thought Frodon was set for a disappointing season, then he's bounced back in style. Oh, so you were one of the doubters, were you? All right, see how it goes. Yeah, look, I mean, he had problems, grade 4 ulcers. You know, it doesn't matter who you are, that's going to stop you in your tracks. And for him to still be running the races he was with them just shows you how unbelievably tough he is.
Went to Hatred to run in the old run as a prep for the Betfair Chase, because he's always good for a prep. And of course, he had to carry 11 stone 12 off a very high mark. Then they took the fences up all the way up the straight. It just didn't work out as a flat route. But he had a gallop ride, really completely underperformed in the Betfair Chase, which was unlike him. So we investigated and found he had grade 4 ulcers, which is the first time he's ever treated that. Turned him round and went to Kempton. I thought he'd win at Kempton. I wasn't sure he was quite ready, but he did well, and he won very nicely that day. Since then, he's gone forward enormously. He must be a game horse.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, no, he is. I mean, he doesn't have to prove any more than that. He's as brave as a lion. I know that saying gets used a lot, but he really is. And to be out there galloping with him, he allows you, because of that way that he likes to do it, you can wear your heart on your sleeve and ride him exactly the way he wants to be.
He's one of those very, very good horses that people always seem to overlook, and everyone's talking about A Plutar this year, and no one's really talking about him, are they?
That's fine, we can be the underdog, a bit like we were last year. That's fine, we'll creep in. Oh, look, you know, we know what we got to do. He's galloped this morning, he was A1. I'm happy, Paul's happy, the team's happy. It's just getting there now, all in one piece, getting there on the day. and you've got to have everything go right. I mean, the races you win are the easiest races you'll ever ride. It's the ones where you're third or fourth, you're racking your head, where could I have found those 3 lengths, what could I have done for him better, where did I mess up? You're always putting the gun to your head, you know. But look, it's a lot of this game is a bit about luck and a bit about the running, but I know that I'm coming from a team and being trained by Paul, I know he's going to be 100%.
He galloped with Clan Des Obeaux at Wincanton this morning, went very, very well, which is exactly what he did last year. So he's right on form.
And obviously he goes back to the Ryanair.
Yeah, he loves it round there, especially if it's, you know, on the softer side. That'll suit him as well at that trip. And he's no different to what he was this time last year.
I think it's pretty epic as a jockey to say you're going to Cheltenham about a talked about horse. That's awesome, especially when it's Frodon they're talking about. Look, it's Cheltenham Festival. It's the Olympics for us. The best of the best go, and they all go there ready to give everything they've got. There's no oh, we'll think about the next race in a couple of weeks' time. No, this is it. You know, this is every horse's kind of Gold Cup in their one scenario of race. So it's going to be tough.
Clan Des Obeaux joining Tier 4, and a big leap at the last from Clan Des Obeaux has sealed it, and so too a quickening touch on the run for home, and an impressive turn of foot as well, and he wins easily. Clan Des Obeaux on his way to the Gold Cup with victory in the Betfair Denman chase.
You've got Denman's, Kauto, Seymour businesses to win Gold Cups. Clan Des Obeaux, though, for whatever reason, the press don't seem to like him, do they? And he keeps winning.
Yeah, he keeps winning. Well, he's won 2 King Georges. The last day was very impressive. He's a much better horse this year. Like, I've been training long enough. You learnt to train him, and he's best when he's very, very fit, and very totally different preparation this year to when he ran in the Denman chase last year. And then you have to back off him a little bit and then keep him fresh and well. This year he's going to go into like mega fit, and having done a lot of work, lots of threes, and really graft the balls off him. He loves it, and that's the way to have him. And he worked very. I was like very impressed with his work this morning at Wincanton. He went very, very nicely, and that was in fairly soft ground. He doesn't mind the ground. He's definitely improved. But you know, people say he hasn't got a good record at Cheltenham. Well, actually, you know, he hasn't run bad. He was second, was a 5-year-old carrying 11-12 in the Caspian Carrying Gold Cup. When he was like half the horse he was now, he was second to Whisper in a novice chase, and he ran very well in the Gold. He jumped the last virtually upsides last year in the Gold Cup, so he acts on the track. Yeah, he didn't finish quite up the hill last year, but he finished 5th, and he can improve on that. Just we'll ride him differently. We were too much on the front end last year, trying to be a bit too positive. We just need to, you know, he's got enough boot you can cruise around and take your time coming to the race late. So lots of things different here. The way we ride him, definitely the preparation is totally different, and he's definitely a better horse.
And he was only beaten 11 lengths last year.
That's not a lot to make up.
No.
I mean, you know, Kauto, you know, the year Kauto got beat by Denman, it was probably one of his not his greatest runs. He still ran very well, but we made the mistake running him at Ascot, and the year after we didn't. And you know, you can get horses that much better a different year, and it's not that much ground to make up. And I just know he's a better horse.
And it's a bit like the sort of Champion Hurdle Gold Cup. There's, you know, there's 5, 6, 7 horses that have got a chance of winning.
You said it. There's no real standout. Obviously, I think last year's winner is still the one to beat. He's had a preparation a bit like us. I guarantee he'll be very, very fit and very, very fresh. And Willie knows what he's doing. The 2 that were second in the and third in the RSA to top of the game last year, they're decent horses. Lost in Translation's got a lot to do, I think, in my book. But it's a Gold Cup, so everything runs has got a chance. But I think it's open.
It's interesting you're saying, you know, about the King George, because Lost in Translation went on then. People now are thinking these better horses, you're only going to give them 2 or 3 runs a season now.
Well, I think if you get them really, you can get them at the best at home now with that run. Some horses are benefit from having a run and will improve, and other horses are better off doing what, you know, you get to learn with, you know, getting them fit at home and just not running them too much. Because, you know, when they run, well, you've seen with like Surname and Altior, you know, they have hard races. You can't keep doing that.
No.
And if you want them to last, you've got to look after them.
Just an update on Surname, how's he?
He's fine, yeah, he's fine. He's actually off having a bone scan at the moment. We gave him a week last week, tested everything, he was fine. We just said we'd do a bone scan, just make sure nothing's troubling him, which I don't think it is. And if that comes back positive, we might just quietly creep on with him, because nothing's come to light. It's just been not a great preparation, you know. He was very, very fit at Ascot first time, and then he ran in the King George off the back of running in that. And then to be easy on him after, Kempton, and it just, whereas when he won the Ascot Grade 1 last year, he had a run a month before and won and was on fire sort of thing. This year wasn't the same preparation, so we've got to get back to where we want him to be, and whether we give him a run at the back end of the season or not is yet to be decided.
And Nicky sort of said he got rather bullied into running it. I mean, do you wish in hindsight, do you wish you hadn't gone?
I probably wish I hadn't gone in the King George. Probably that might have come a bit soon, but he still ran second in the King George. But no, we were ready to go to Ascot. That was a race for us, a prep. Me going to races to win, and I mean, I seem to think that the week before Altior would be catching pigeons and been working better than anything. And, Nicky's a professional. If he really didn't want to run him, he wouldn't have run him. But, if he'd have won, he wouldn't have been saying that. It was just a tough race for both of them. And both of them, in races, they're going to have hard races. But thankfully, they both got over it now. I mean, Altior probably better than us now. But, we'll be back.
In all the years you've been here, correct me if I'm wrong, have you ever had the horses in better form than this? They are flying at the moment.
Yeah, normally I was thinking yesterday, normally we have this run in October, but they weren't running that well in October. So we're having a run now, and probably this is the best time of year to be in top form. I mean, they're running out of their skins at the moment, the best they've ever been.
Is it for any particular reason?
No, I don't think so. I just think the way the season's come out, we had a few little niggles early on, which we've ironed out, and the horses are just flying.
Yeah. And you, as a whole, Cheltenham Festival, it means, I mean, that day last year was just incredible, and it means so much to you. I know the Cheltenham Festival.
Oh, yeah, like I say, I mean, you try not to dream too much, try not to get your head involved in it too quickly. Like I say, a day in a jockey's life is a very long day. You've got to get from one side to the other on a day in one piece. And if we get there, then we'll just look forward to it. Go out there, and I mean, you prep yourself on weekdays, that's when you do your training. You're here, you're schooling with your horses, you're talking to Clifford, you're talking to Paul, you're talking to anybody you can, be a sponge and learn. When it comes down to Saturdays, just believe in your ability. You're on the horses because people believe that you're good enough and you can do a good enough job to be on them, so just go out there and enjoy galloping. Yeah,
and the exciting thing is there'll be lots of spares going as well, won't there? That's the nature of these big handicaps and things.
Oh, well, look, I mean, be thankful for whatever comes my way, whatever Harry chooses, maybe I might be able to pick the second horse, but in this yard the second horse is like the first horse for us, so it's class. But look, we'll go there as a team and we'll all get kicking and try and get Paul the best results.
Just as far as the Trainers' Championship goes, I mean, again, it's nip and tuck at the moment, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, we were sort of like always been playing catch-up all season, really. We didn't get that busy in London. We were only sort of 58 grand behind, so going into Cheltenham was even Stevens, really, and it all depends what happens at Cheltenham. Who has the best Cheltenham, and who'll be chasing who. I mean, if it comes out of Cheltenham, not I'd say either one of us are sort of 250 apart from each other, it'll be an interest. It'll probably go right to the end of the season. But it'll be a lot of fun then anyway, but not now. Oh, no. At the moment, you don't concentrate on being champion trainer. You just concentrate on getting those horses. Like, there's a nerve-wracking. This morning we took 8 to win Canton, and you want to see them all go well, and they should go well, really, to be honest with you, the preparation they've had. So things like that you've got to deal with, and you want to make sure tonight they're all okay and get all the schooling done. There's lots to be thinking about all the time, and it's a great meeting. We're not going to have that many runners, probably a dozen or 15, but I'm trying to be very selective what we run, and hopefully just horses with chances.